Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to another pre-series preview. We got the whole gang again. Myself, David, joined by my two co-hosts, Ian and Brady. How are
Gang,
you guys
gang.
doing? I haven't talked to you guys in forever.
Yeah, it's
Oh
been a
yeah,
while.
definitely.
So we got a series. Red Sox got a series coming up against the Los Angeles Angels.
Is
Uh,
it showtime?
well, we're gonna get into that. I don't know if he's gonna be playing. He pinch hit today. He's dealing with a groin injury. Him and Robert Williams are groin injury buddies. I can't believe I just said that. But anyways,
Don't compare Shohei Ohtani to Robert Williams. Shohei is nothing compared to Rob Williams.
this is not a Celtics podcast. You can go check out BSML Celtics to go on your basketball.
It
Scoop.
could become a Celtic. No, it can't.
So this Red Sox off day today. We start a 3-game set against the hot Los Angeles Angels tomorrow. I shouldn't say hot necessarily. They did just lose, or they did just split a series against Chicago. But coming into the series, Angels are 15-9, and the Red Sox are in fourth in the AL East at 9-14. But 3-game set starting up against LA. What are your guys' takeaways on LA as a team this year in 2022?
They're not wasting Trout and Otani as much as they normally do, so that's good. Mike Trout's been able to stay healthy somewhat. That's also good. So, it is kind of one of those things where it's like, you would expect the Angels to be a lot better than they are with like two of the best players like in the MLB right now. Actually, I think they are 1 and 2 with Trout and Otani. Like you would expect them to be a lot better than they are. But I mean, I guess baseball, that just kind of shows that baseball is really nothing like basketball, where you can have like two stars on a basketball team and they can lead you to a championship at that point. But when it comes to baseball, I guess you need the other guys. And they have not done a good job over the years of getting other guys to play alongside Trout and Otani. So at least they're doing better now than they have been in the past.
How about you,
Yeah,
Brady?
like you're saying, they're very top. They, I don't know if lag between us, but
Just a little bit, but keep
they're
talking.
just toppy. Yeah, they have a lot of stars, but it's just they don't have a lot of players in that depth role, and their pitching solid too. Hey, Otani, and then the starter for Game 1, who I solid over the years. Uh, you know, they're just a strong team. Really have depth around Shohei and like Trout.
Yeah, that's my takeaways too. Is that there's not too many other flashy names besides Trout and Otani, but Trout and Otani stick out in and of itself, like Ian talked about, where you have probably the two best players in the sport right now on the same team in the same lineup,
Dave.
and right,
They got Anthony Rendon too, so
that's true. Anthony Rendon.
Taylor
Oh,
Ward
they
just
do
won
have
Player of the
Rendon.
Week after he smacked the Guardians.
So
Max Stassi. Or is
you have
Yeah, he's still their catcher.
some players here who are not only the best players in the MLB, but some of the best players the sport has ever seen. And they have some depth around them. And of course, they're managed by a guy, Joe Madden, who's been a bit of a journeyman way back in the day. He actually managed these same Los Angeles Angels. He went to the Rays, the Cubs, won a World Series with the Cubs, and now he's here with the Angels in the back end of his career. And, a lot of people question Joe Maddon's managing decisions. Obviously he had the bases loaded intentional walk to Corey Seager a few weeks ago that comes to mind. But teams always seem to win with him. I don't know really what it is. He's had a few rough years in between, but he got the most out of that Rays team. Obviously, if we want to take a trip down memory lane, his managing in that Game 7 of the 2016 series was nearly abysmal. I don't know what the heck he was doing in that game, but they still won. And he's got a pretty good team going here in Los Angeles, and you hope he just doesn't waste, as we talked about, Trout's prime, because the game of baseball is better when Mike Trout plays deep in October. And I think a lot of baseball fans collectively want to see Trout win a ring at some point, just because he's just an incredible player. Can't say enough about him. Shohei Otani, most likely the most wholesome player in the MLB right now. Won MVP last season. He's a two-way player. So it's all coming together so far for Los Angeles. But I mean, any other? You guys already kind of touched upon it, but any thoughts on how their how their lineup offensively fares?
Their lineup's actually pretty solid. It's been a lot better this year. Obviously, it's a lot better when Mike Trout's in the lineup and he's healthy playing. And Shohei, he's been pretty solid as of at least that I know of. Taylor Ward, he's kind of a random name, but he just won Player of the Week this week because he just kind of smacked the Guardians. And they got other guys, Rendon, David Fletcher, Max Stassi, like guys we were talking about earlier. So like they don't have like the most powerful lineup in the MLB, but like it is a pretty solid lineup that can put runs up on the board.
How about you, Brady? Any thoughts?
Yeah, they're really more of a back-ended team. Yeah, they're more of a they still have a depth team other than guys like obviously Trout and Otani, but you have these guys that are, Joel coming in for his second year, David Fletcher, just guys that are runs, but they're not really the flashy name. But it should be they're an all around not great, we'll say.
So we're gonna get into the pitching matchups here for this
There's a
three-game
huge-
set. Game one on the bump for the Angels is Noah Syndergaard versus Michael Wacha pitching for the Red Sox. Syndergaard so far in the battle of righties is 2-0 with a 2.12 ERA and 11 strikeouts. Wacha so far this year at the back end of Boston's rotation is also 2-0 with a 1.77 ERA and 17 strikeouts. So Red Sox fans, as we talked about on here too, have to be pretty happy with how the season's gone so far from Michael Wacha. He's the return on investment has been good so far in this first part of the year. He's been eating up innings at the back end of the rotation and pitching really well when there really wasn't too many expectations for him. But obviously, we all wonder, is this type of production from Wacha sustainable? And you look on the flip side, you have a guy like Noah Syndergaard who spent a lot of time in his career with the New York Mets. And he's always seemed to be a very dominant pitcher. Off to a good start this year. I mean, last year he was a little rough. I don't think he didn't pitch at all really last year. I'm just looking at the stats. But for the most part, Syndergaard's been pretty serviceable in his career. This is his first year out in LA. And I mean, we keep wondering, and this isn't us rooting against Wacha, but we keep wondering as Red Sox fans, when's that domino with Wacha going to tip? When is he finally going to get shelled? But all signs, in my opinion, point towards this being a pitcher's duel, and this could be a low-scoring game tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? For as bad as our pitching has been, I think we should give as much confidence as we can in Michael Wacha because he's kind of been he's been an aberration this season. He seems like he's turned the clock back a few years on with the way he's pitching so far the first part of the season. Now, granted, it is early, but there still could be that game where he ends up inevitably getting like shelled for a bunch of runs. But as of right now, Michael Wacha's putting it together. He's playing really good baseball. Well, he's pitching really good right now. And honestly, at this point, I'll take anything we can get out of any starting pitching. So I'm all on the Michael Wacha hype train.
How about you, Brady?
Is very, very bad right now, so I'm not certain you're gonna hear me live, but they're strong now, but you're worried like it's a level of assist where it is almost too good. And then guys like Syndergaard, I'm seeing really good performance the 2016 Mets, and that's Syndergaard's going back to his roots and being that strong right-handed pitcher. It's just it is going to be the rubber series, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
So we're going to get to this second game now. And this recap, I apologize, or this pre-series preview is going to be a little bit empty because as of right now, unless you guys have any other information on this, like the Rays series, the Angels have not yet announced who their starters will be for games 2 and games 3. So for Boston, on the mound in game 2, Garrett Whitlock will be getting his third career start. So far this year, he is 1-1 with a 0.54 ERA and 20 strikeouts. Again, this is just becoming the Garrett Whitlock Appreciation YouTube channel, but him, Waka, Evaldi have all just been fantastic pitchers so far for Boston. Very consistent. It seems like they're fully grooming. It seems like it's running in that direction. We thought that this would happen a little later, but it seems like all signs point towards Whitlock being a starter in this rotation for a while now. And he had that good start against the Rays. I can't say enough about him. He's like our utility pitcher. He can do it all. He can start for us. He can close. He can pitch long relief. How do you guys think he's going to end up doing against the Los Angeles lineup when he starts in the second game of this series? Garrett Whitlock, that is.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett Whitlock has been dominant so far this year, no matter what role he's been put into, no matter if he was been a starter, a reliever, closer, doesn't matter. Garrett Whitlock has been basically unstoppable this year. And honestly, I still would much rather him in the bullpen. Maybe that's just me because of how lackluster our bullpen has been so far this season. I feel like he's a huge, important part in that. But, I mean, he's been just as good as a starter. So, honestly, at this point, I mean, if we can have him pitching the entire game, that'd be nice. But, honestly, I think Garrett Whitlock will be fine. And, he's been dominant up to this point. So, I'm just going to continue to praise Garrett Whitlock for how well he's doing, and hopefully we just continue to see more success out of him.
Yeah, I entirely agree. Whitlock's been strong against the teams he's started against. I'm currently looking into which teams those were. Okay, we got
it was Toronto
and we got Tampa Bay.
It was Tampa.
Yeah, so they're not bad teams that he's playing and having these good performances against. But I feel like it's really one way or the other. Truly, Angels put on the bump. Obviously, with strong, but they have solid offense with guys like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, even some of the depth guys. But it depends on if the Red Sox can put up. If it's a guy that's just throwing meat, of course we're gonna put up some runs, and that could give us the win. But pitcher, I don't know if we could take that game. It's just their offense is too dominant for me to really be definite on Whitlock's performance.
Yeah, I think those are all fair points, and it's interesting because I have this same kind of dilemma as you, Ian, where it's like Whitlock's proven he can be a starter, and it's great that we're accelerating the process. It doesn't seem like we're rushing him. Like, he'll fit in with this rotation. It seems like he's going to take Tanner Houck's spot. It seems like Tanner Houck kind of lost that with having to miss Toronto and part of the road trip. But at the same time, who's left when Whitlock leaves the bullpen? So do we just keep him in the bullpen when you have a dominant name in there? Because Robles got off to a good start, but now Robles is starting to scuffle a little bit. Matt Strom's been great, but you don't know how long that's going to keep up for. Jake Diekman's been just wild. So I don't know. But all I know is I love seeing Garrett Whitlock pitching, and whenever he can give us innings, it's going to be a great day. And he always seems to put the Red Sox in a position to win. So that's game 2. The third and final game of this series, again, the Angels have yet to announce who will be pitching for them, but who will be on the bump for Boston is Rich Hill. So far this year, the lefty from Milton, Massachusetts, so far this year is 0-1 with a 3.71 ERA and 11 strikeouts.
He's from Milton?
Yeah, he's just outside of Boston. He spent his offseason in Winchester.
Milton is. I had no idea he was from Mass. That's sick.
Yeah, so
dude,
he pretty much he's never publicly come out and said this, but basically anytime the Red Sox have shown interest in him, because I think he signed with us like 7 times or something like that, but he's never going to turn down Boston because he's from here and it's like his family's here. He spent his off seasons in Winchester. All his ties are here in Boston, but this season, as we talked about in the post series recap for the Baltimore series. So far this year, Rich Hill has yet to eclipse 5 innings in a game. So in this one, we can expect more of the same. He's only going to give you 4 to 5 innings, throwing 60 pitches. So this has the likings of a bullpen game. If Whitlock wasn't starting, this would be a typical, you hope Rich Hill goes 5 innings and Whitlock goes 4. but we're just going to have to get creative in this game. So if you ask me, I mean, I think Hill does a good job of keeping us competitive in the first part of the game, but I don't love our chances of winning this game against the Angels because you never know what you can expect when it gets to the bullpen, and we're going to probably go to the bullpen here earlier in this game than we'd like.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're gonna do the same thing that we did last time when Rich Hill pitched, and that means putting Tanner Houck in right after that, I guess that's fine. I'm okay with that. Although I think that's like, I don't know, maybe that's just because it's not really common, but like I don't think I've ever seen what the Red Sox are trying to attempt, where it's like they're trying to have a guy go like 3-4 innings, and they put another guy that could be a starter and have him go 3-4 innings. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's not common and it's somewhat of a new concept, but I don't know, it just feels weird. It doesn't feel like it's going to work out much, but what do I know? But anyway, honestly, if we do that, that's fine. I think that'll work. It's going to be tough, but I will just have to see who the Angels are pitching that day. So
I entirely agree. It's going to be something similar to what we see in Game 2. I think it's entirely dependent on who's pitching for the Angels. I hope that Old Man Hill can put up some good numbers against the Angels, but I really don't have as much faith as I want to. I mean, it's Rich Hill. He's older. He doesn't have that endurance, but he's not going to go that many innings. We know that already. But it's about who they pitch. I mean, I feel like our offense can do the job, depend on the pitcher is.
So now we're going to get into X factors in this series. For me, biggest X factor for the Red Sox, and again, Ian touched upon this in the post-series recap, not leaving runners in scoring position, actually driving in runners and putting runs on the scoreboard. Red Sox always seem to struggle with that. It's not just a 2022 thing, but every year the Red Sox have truly struggled and missed out on the playoffs in recent memory. They've just always struggled with leaving runners on base. You have to get going at some point. It's going to be tough against the Angels. I mean, you look at Noah Syndergaard in this first game, it's going to be tough to get stuff past him. But that's just the biggest thing for me. And that's not necessarily an X factor for the Red Sox versus the Angels. That's just an X factor for me again for the Red Sox at this point of the season. But how about you guys for X factors?
Yeah, X factor.
Yeah, mine as always is
okay. Oh no, you good. No, you good.
The huge lag. Mine, as it always is just going to be waking up the bats. The Red Sox, we're strong offensively. It's just that we struggle to put numbers on the scoreboard because most of our hits come as a routine pop fly or they go foul. So we need to put balls into the field where they belong, obviously. And we got to get runs with, guys in scoring position. We got to bat those guys in. But it's really about waking up the bats for this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say. There's only so much you can talk about with the pitching, so I don't really think we can consider that really much of an X factor at this point. We pretty much just have to figure out if the offense can hold up, because as of recent, the last homestand or the last road trip at least, the offense has not looked good. They have not played well. And I mean, we need the Sox to get it going, and maybe it's just a matter of time until the bats wake up and we start seeing the Red Sox that we saw last year. But we'll just have to see what happens at this point.
How about advantages, disadvantages for each side? I mean, is that kind of too close to call, or like what are your guys' advantages?
I think they're. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they're pretty similar, honestly. I think both teams are, they both have questions when it comes to their pitching, but at the same time, their offenses can be lethal. And, I mean, I think the biggest thing is always, they have Mike Trout. Mike Trout is Mike Trout. And so, we'll have to see what happens there. But I think if we can somewhat neutralize Trout and Ohtani, and, hopefully that doesn't get the rest of the Angels offense going.
Yeah, I feel like Angels have the advantage star power. I mean, obviously Ohtani and Trout, they got big names, they got big bats, defense, but they're always going to get in your heads like these are the top players in the MLB. But the Red Sox have power that can, that can work up to that. And not only that, but we actually have solid depth that can compete with on Los Angeles.
And before we wrap this up, let's just do our series predictions. How do you guys think this series is going to go? Who's going to win this series? Is it going to be a sweep, 2 or 3? Let you guys take it away.
Honestly, I don't really know. I really don't. You know what? I'm just gonna say the Sox sweep the Angels because why not? Crazier things have happened.
Ian with the bold pick. How about you, Brady?
As much as I'd love to agree with Ian, I have the Angels taking 2 of 3. I just feel like we're going to see more of the same, and I'm concerned. But I do think with Walk on the bump, we are the stronger team. I think we'll drop game 1, drop game 3, and we'll take game 2.
I'm going to say the Red Sox take 2 or 3 here. So we all have different predictions, which is funny. But I think the Red Sox win game 1. Syndergaard versus Walker, as I said, I believe has the likings to be a pitcher's duel, but I think Walker is just going to edge Syndergaard. Words I never thought I'd say at the beginning of the season, but I think that's just what's going to happen in this game. I think Whitlock, with him on the bump, doesn't really matter to me who's on the bump for the Angels. I think Whitlock can give us a solid 5, hopefully, and maybe the Red Sox can get enough run support to get a decently sized or convincing victory. And I think we'll lose this Thursday game. I think we'll avoid the sweep, or the Angels will avoid the sweep, and I think they'll get to Rich Hill a bit. Again, as we talked about, this is the likings of a bullpen game.
Man Hill.
Old man Rich Hill. This has the likings of a bullpen game because he can only go 4 or 5 innings, and when we go to our bullpen, not the prettiest so far this year. So I think the Angels will win the 3rd game, but I have the Red Sox win the series by taking the first 2. So
just a quick closing question. Obviously, right, we've got a rotation set with Eovaldi, Hill, Waka, Houken, and what's his name?
Pivetta.
Whitlock are sort of splitting time. Pivetta, just like him too. What's going to happen when we have guys like Chris Sale and James Paxton coming back later this year? Or who's going to get sent down to AAA? Who's going to get traded? Who's going to get UFA'd? Who's going to get sent to the bullpen? Because I'm concerned.
I mean, at this point, it's looking like it might end up just being Whitlock and Pivetta back in the bullpen if I had to pick something. I mean, not because I don't have faith in Whitlock as a starter, but like if you have 2 guys that are coming back, or who knows, maybe they put James Paxton in the bullpen, I think it's just going to be up to depending on what Cora wants to do with the guys that are coming back.
Yeah, see, I have Tanner Houck going to the bullpen full time, and I also have Pivetta going to the bullpen. And unfortunately, I hate to say this because obviously he's starting Thursday, and I don't want to be too hard on him in this series, but I worry that we're going to drop Rich Hill. I worry that he's going to either get sent down to AAA, get
I think
DFA'd.
I don't think we'll DFA him or release him. I personally think at some point it wouldn't surprise me if we send him to the bullpen. Because when Sale comes back in June, July, you're looking at Sale, Eovaldi. I think Cora, as much as he's struggled so far, I think Cora wants to keep Pivetta in the rotation. So Sale, Eovaldi, Pivetta, Waka, maybe Whitlock in the mix, or maybe Houck stays in the mix, or Hill. And then Paxton will be back either right around the deadline or like early August. We'll see what happens, but Sale, Eovaldi, Pivetta will for sure be in the rotation, and Waka. I think those 4 guys are, when everyone's healthy, will definitely be in the fold.
And then the rest are just sort of fighting for that 5th spot. And if we could go with a 6-man rotation, that wouldn't be horrible either.
Well, and Cora talked about doing that in spring training, and you don't see that happen too much. I think the last time it was notable was the Rockies back in 2012 did something like that, but that's a decade ago. But I just think someone like Rich Hill is more of, a long relief kind of guy where he can give you 3 or 4 innings out of the pen to trying to end a game versus trying to start a game. But that's just me. But I did think about that a couple of days ago, and it's going to be unique once we're fully healthy. And I am excited to see a guy like James Paxton because he had some pretty good seasons back in the day, and obviously we gave him $26 million, banking on the fact that he'll be able to contribute a lot next season. But it'll be interesting when everyone's healthy for sure. So that's going to do it for this Pre-Series Preview. Red Sox, as we said, are off tonight. Start up a 3-game set against the Angels tomorrow back at Fenway. Make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, follow us on all our personals, follow us on Twitter at BSML. Is it just BSML Red Sox? There's no dot?
It is just BSML Red Sox, capital BSL R and S.
So
Maybe we could link it in a pinned comment or something. Maybe, who knows?
That's a great idea. So follow us at BSML Red Sox on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at BSML.RedSox. We're going to have content come to you guys every day. Stay tuned. Watch this preview. Go Red Sox. Let's get going.
Let's
and
go.
Alongside Ian, let's go Bruins. Let's go Celtics. You can see Ian at the Celtics game tomorrow if you want to go say hi to him.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I'll be there. Who knows? You could say hi to me as well.
Carolina just got screwed out of a goal right there. That's crazy.
We're going to go ahead and watch the Bruins game.
Oh.
You guys make sure to watch this recap as well, and we will talk to you guys later. Take care.